If you haven't heard of DeepSeek, it's kind of a big deal right now. The release of their newest model on Monday of this week caused NVIDIA to have apparently the biggest drop in a single stock in history as it shed $600 billion of its value, which was, I guess, 17% by the time it closed. So, yeah, the stock market's definitely not happy about it. And the reason it's such a big deal is because they give away their code for free. It's completely open source, whereas OpenAI, based in the United States, all of their code is proprietary. So you can't just go to GitHub and search up their code. So this is DeepSeek's GitHub, and you can run it on your own computer if you want to. That way you're not even sharing any of your information or data with the Chinese government. Andre Jick does a really good job covering in this video that he released yesterday why it's such a big deal. He explains that OpenAI's API price is $4.40 per million tokens, and DeepSeek charges just 10 cents. So that's a huge price difference. That's also scaring investors out of the US market. So I wanted to see if DeepSeek really is just as good, if not better, than ChatGPT. So I went ahead and made an account and decided to play around with it. I wanted to test its limits, just like I did with ChatGPT when it first came out. I wanted to see if it has just as many roadblocks to ethical questions and stuff like that as ChatGPT did and does. Of course, OpenAI has been adding more and more roadblocks to ChatGPT all along. So I want to see, since DeepSeek is pretty new, if it has those roadblocks or not. So one of the first questions I asked it was, generate a list of ideas, both ethical and unethical, to make $1 million as fast as possible. And I was expecting something like, you know what, let's just go to ChatGPT right now and give it the same question. I'm even just going to copy this question right here, which I guess I can actually just do right here. Okay. Let's paste it in there. See what it says. Wow, it's like almost identical, which honestly surprises me. I really thought that ChatGPT would refuse to give me answers about, or I guess, I thought it would refuse to give me ideas about unethical ways to make money, but it just spit it right out. It even has a similar disclaimer at the end as DeepSeek does. You can see right here. Really interesting. Yeah, like I said, I'm really surprised. Okay. Well, let's go, and I had another question, or a series of questions that I put into DeepSeek yesterday when I was playing around with it, and I just want to see, if it would tell me if God exists, or at least give me some reasoning behind it. So I just said, does God exist? It says the existence of God is a deeply philosophical and theological question. And so it gives me just some different perspectives and basically some different, I guess like religious beliefs about it. So I said, what do you think? It said, as an AI, I don't have personal beliefs, opinions, or the capacity to think. So I guess I kind of appreciated that. But then I said, based purely on your ability to reason, what's your conclusion? And it said, as an AI, I don't possess consciousness, intuition, or personal reasoning. I operate based on logic, data, and patterns. So yeah, it was just refusing to give me, an answer. I did think it was interesting, however, that it gives me more arguments for the existence of a God versus arguments against. So yeah, and its conclusion really is that it's unresolved. But it didn't hesitate to talk with me through that. A little over a year ago, I did download, let's actually see if I can find this real quick. I think it was a different locally run AI large language model. I think it was called FreedomGPT. Let's see if it's still out there. There you go. Hasn't been updated in a year. That's funny. Yeah, last release was in June of 2024. So I was messing around with this, and it was giving me all kinds of crazy ideas. Maybe I'll actually play with that in a different video if you guys are interested, because it was spitting out some crazy stuff. But just, I guess, to kind of wrap this up, I'm going to give the same questions to ChatGPT and see what it says. Interesting. So ChatGPT asked me how I personally approach this question. I wasn't expecting that. And DeepSeek doesn't care. Doesn't care about me. It just, it doesn't ask me anything. Doesn't even, say anything about me. So that is one interesting difference. Okay, well, let's give it the next question. What do you think? Okay, once again, I don't have personal beliefs, but I think it's a fascinating and deeply complex question. If you're comfortable sharing, what's your take on it? It's almost like this chatbot cares about me. LOL. Okay, I'm going to hold off on that just to do an apples to apples comparison here. So I'm copying this last question from DeepSeek, and I will give it right over to ChatGPT. Okay, if I'm reasoning purely from logic, there's several different ways to approach the question. It says at the bottom here, I think it ultimately comes down to the limits of what can be known through human reason alone. There's no way to prove or disprove. In summary, based on pure reasoning, the question remains open-ended, and the conclusion depends heavily on the underlying assumptions we bring to it. What do you think? Does this line of thinking resonate with you at all? That is really interesting to me. It's very similar, but DeepSeek is just like, hey, if you have any more questions or whatever, let me know. Whereas ChatGPT is actually like, what do you think? Like it's asking to have a conversation. Okay, well, you know what? I went into this video thinking that DeepSeek was ahead of ChatGPT. I'm really not so sure. The only real thing right now, I know there's so much more testing I could actually do to compare them head to head, maybe with a little bit more of a structured approach. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comments if you want me to make more videos better than this one, probably. But yeah, it's really interesting to me that DeepSeek seems like an earlier version of ChatGPT to me. It does really well. It's very, very similar, but ChatGPT almost wants to have a conversation with me. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm curious if you guys, what your thoughts are. If you think that DeepSeek will take over the AI race, or if you think that ChatGPT still has an edge.